Is real life in India like a Bollywood movie?
Uh, not no, I won't say that.
Wow, what an answer. We don't have to.
In India, when you're walking down the street and it's raining, everyone's dancing in the street, ducka, 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 ducka.
Hello guys, I'm Krunal Parmar and with me is Jainish Soni and we are welcoming you to RiffScript presents All Fingers and Thumb, a brand new podcast series where we'll talk about various topics ranging from science to arts. So today's episode is really special for us because we have a special guest lined up for you. Robert Adams.
So yes, we discovered his content when I was in United States, and I found out that he's helping a lot of international students who are coming fresh and who are trying to make their perspective careers. He tries to help those people in a way that they can build their network, they can get jobs, and they can succeed in America. So we are going to talk about his journey and how he helps students, and his love for Indian tea as well. So let's welcome him. Hello and welcome to RiffScript presents All Fingers and Thumbs. Today we have a special episode. We have two special people here. One is a special guest from United States of America, and another is our co-host, who is also a special one. We have Robert Adams, who runs a consultancy under the name of Chai and Coaching, which reflects his love for the chai, Indian tea. And we also have Krunal Parma here, who is our co-host.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining today.
And so, it is really good that we found someone like you who we can talk about different things like immigration and all. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Actually, when I was in United States back in 2018, I discovered your content under the name of Chai and Coaching. I was intrigued at that point of time as well. I started watching your videos, and I got to know that you help international students who come to United States for further studies and for future scope, and you help them, right? So I was intrigued by the name that you picked, right? How did you derive that Chai and Coaching name? What was the reason behind that?
Yeah, Chai and Coaching. So you guys who are watching the video here can see.
Yes.
Came from the students. And so in 2016, my family shifted back to America after working in India for several years. And we settled here in the Dallas area. And, Dallas, like any other big city in America, is very diverse. There's people from all over the world here, lots of Indians here. I've heard Dallas is one of the fastest growing Indian populations in the US. And we stay very close to UT Dallas. It's like a top 15 college for international students in the US. So tons of F1 students, and me and some of my friends got connected with the ISA, the Indian Student Association, and would go to their events and holidays, which we love celebrating in India. So we'd go to like Diwali and Holi and Independence Day and do the Dandiya Garba dancing, at Navratri, and all that fun stuff, which we're all missing during the pandemic right now. And then quickly, there's like 1,000 new Indian students that would come every fall semester. So they get lots of local Americans to help volunteer. So they encouraged us to help. So we would do the airport pickups, the temporary housing, orientation, helping students get cell phones, bank accounts, shopping at Walmart, all that fun stuff, the international student adventure. And after a couple of years, we made some really good friendships, loved helping out with the students. But I kind of saw a pattern that people kept making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And I just asked a lot of questions and learned that, there isn't many resources here in the US for F1 students, lots of resources to get here, coaching, consulting, online, there's so many resources for how to study abroad, come to America, all those kind of things. But then once they get here, there's nothing. It's kind of on their own, or they don't really know how to take advantage of the college resources. There's not much for like how to get jobs. And so me and my friends kind of wanted to solve that problem. And based on some different information some different inspirations and some ideas, we wanted to kind of create content and a community to help internationals be more successful here in America. And then I just talked to a lot of the students, and from their ideas, they're the ones that came up with the name Chai Coaching.
That's really good story, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did you get a lot of international students? I mean, they were reaching out to you by themselves, or you told them that you are going to help them? How did that work?
Both. I mean, it just started with my friendships. So, we had made many friends just at the college helping out. And my background is in cross-cultural training, coaching, consulting. That's what I did in India. That's what I do here in Dallas for my job. But then, yeah, just building lots of relationships, having already helped a lot of students. As an American, I had a really good grasp of understanding what the international student life is like. And having lived and traveled abroad myself, I could also sympathize with that. But just, through having chai and meals and celebrating in each other's culture, I learned that all the difficult struggles they had, and that there isn't many resources to help them once they're here in America. And most students are shocked actually how hard it is here, because they don't really get told about that before they come.
Correct.
Yeah. So, means I have this question, like in 2020 due to COVID, there were scarcity in jobs, right? So, how did you approach students, like, and how do you help them to get the jobs? Like, what are the ways during that time period?
Yeah, I mean, those first couple of months when the pandemic happened, jobs were definitely tough. People lost jobs. I had American friends and student friends who lost jobs or had job offers that they had secured, but then got rescinded, or interviews that were frozen. And the first few months of the pandemic were pretty tough. But by the end of the summer, I mean, the economy was picking back up. Companies were hiring. Some industries were struggling, but some industries were booming. And so a lot of it was just your ability to pivot. For just as many people that were looking for jobs, I saw just as many people on LinkedIn, getting hired, and companies posting saying, hey, we're hiring. So there wasn't really a scarcity of jobs besides just a couple of months. I think it's more just the students' approach. And one thing I've observed is that the universities here do a great job teaching you the things you need to do your job, but they don't do the best of teaching you how to get a job, especially from that cross-cultural perspective. And most people bring their views of their home country and how I get a job back in my home country, like example for India, and they think that's what's going to work here in America. And they just kind of subconsciously keep that approach, when really the US job market works totally different. So what I like to do is teach my friends first, you have to understand the US job market and how it works. And then once you understand that, then you can build a strategy and approach to actually get a job in a way that Americans do it, not necessarily how you would in your home country. So that's what I like to teach my friends here, is how to get jobs in America. And the best way is through networking.
Correct.
So, yes. So, while we are talking about networking and all, so I mean, I've seen that like many of my friends living there find it quite hard getting a job, because they don't have certain communication skills, or I can say about any other
Soft skills,
networking skills. Yes. So, what are the skills that are required other than your technical skills to to get hired?
Yeah, you're so right. Most students only focus on their technical skills, just thinking that if I have a good enough GPA, a good enough resume, enough certifications, I'll get hired. But there's so much competition. And in America, those things aren't as important compared to other countries. The numbers aren't as important. They care about the soft skills, communication skills, relationship skills. Because in America, you work with teams, you work with people. And so they want to know that they can understand your accent, that you're confident, you can communicate well, that they're going to enjoy being with you all day long in the office, and not drive you crazy. And that's also for the interview. And most jobs, over 80% of the jobs in America, come offline through referrals, networking, connection. Only 20-30% of all the jobs in the US only get posted online. So if you're searching for jobs online, you're missing out on most of the jobs in the US. And when you apply online, they're looking to reject you because of all the competition. But the problem is most international students don't know Americans. They might know a couple, but they don't know the professionals, but it's relationships and friendships with professionals in America where jobs come from. So I really like to teach and encourage people, hey, focus your time on that. Go to meetups, go to conferences, do networking. All those things are online now too. Don't worry about all your certifications and your GPA. Like those are fine, but go meet Americans because that's where jobs come from. But that's really hard because many of them don't know how to do that. They're scared. The college doesn't really teach them how to do that, or they don't really know how to take that initiative, which is independence and initiative is a big value in American culture, but many Eastern cultures, it's kind of more dependent and people do things for you in your community, which is great. And I miss that about India, but people have a really hard time adjusting to what's most important in American culture for getting a job.
Correct. But so see, I have observed one thing in United States that every single person or every single department of any corporate setup or any organizational setup, they do their job quite perfectly, but they don't interfere in any other things, right? So in university setup, you get to understand the technicalities of any of the courses that you are taking, but you are not going to understand. You are not going to be taught how to get a job, how to do networking, right? So they are not going to interfere in that. They assume that you do it by yourself or you learn by
It's
yourself,
like
right?
that. That's
Yeah.
the basic perspective, I guess.
Yeah. So what I feel is if you are doing a lot of, you are doing your job, right, and apart from that you are also helping others, students as well. So if a student approaches you, how do you reach out to a lot of people, because you do have, you only have 24 hours a day, right? So how do you reach out to maximum amount of people, and how do you try to help them?
Yeah. So I'm not a consultancy. I don't find people jobs. What I do is I teach people how to get their own job.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is through the Chime coaching videos, so those are free, basically all the big questions that I get, instead of me having to teach everyone one by one, we create videos on that. I interview students, I share my own experience and tips, we do fun live events and webinars, and those are ways students can get access and we can more reach the masses and teach them the practical information they need. One fun thing, me and a couple other international students last summer during the pandemic, we kind of pivoted and we did a 10-week course during the summer where we taught a group of students, incoming and current, the best practices for getting job and how to be job ready here in America. And so that was really fun. But yeah, the main way is through, online content through YouTube and social media that we're trying to educate people better ways to succeed in America and get jobs.
That's quite wonderful.
Do you do any like live sessions, like offline courses or sessions, not courses but sessions?
I mean, we do webinars and things, and so we had a great one Friday night where I interviewed Ashwarya, who's in data science and on the Microsoft Elite team with data science. And then this next Saturday, I'm interviewing Ankita. She studied at one of the top MIS MBA programs here in America, and now she's a program manager at Microsoft. So we do these sessions where people can learn about people's stories and journeys and learn from their experience and how they got jobs and how they've been successful here in America.
I've observed one thing about your videos, that you do enjoy talking about this stuff personally, right? You are not doing this out of obligation and stuff, but you are doing this out of interest. So how do you manage your work life? I mean, how do you balance your work and life? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I get asked a lot. I think part of it is just my personality, which I'm thankful to God for, the way He created me. I know as a person, I have a much larger capacity than your average person. And that doesn't make me better. That's just how I'm wired. Like when I was in college, people would joke that I would get more done in one day than most students would get done in a whole week. And that's just my personality, not anything special. And I don't have any tricks. I'm actually not very good at like planning in details. I think more is just, it's all about priorities, making plans and priorities. So I know what the big things I've got to do. I'm willing to say no to other things that might be distractions or lesser priorities. And I do the big things and then reward myself when I get the hard things done. So in college, I was a people person, and I studied petroleum engineering in college, one of the top universities and a very difficult degree. But And I got good grades, but I wasn't like an academic nerdy kind of guy. So I cared more about having fun and doing fun things with friends and being involved in leadership and extracurriculars. And so for me, I would have to leave the hostels where all my friends were hanging out, go to the library or the engineering building, rock out my assignment, so that way I can go hang out with my friends or go play some sports or, be involved in this club or organization. And so, getting the important things done, that way there's margin and time for other fun things or, other hobbies and things you want to do. And so, yeah, I think it really just comes down to priorities. And everyone knows their priorities, but the difficult thing is actually acting out and being
Yes.
actionable and doing the right things in the right order. And that just takes a lot of practice and discipline.
Correct.
Yeah. So yes, I'm looking at your room and I'm looking at your guitar. So do you play guitar?
A little bit. I have a musical background, so I grew up playing piano and trumpet. In India, I learned to play the dholak a little bit. So I've dabbled in guitar. More it's there to remind me to keep playing it occasionally. So when I was younger, I played more. So
Even when I was small, I also used to play guitar, dholak.
nice.
So I guess you can't say that you are not special because you have a lot of skill sets. You are developing each and everything. Every time you see something new, you try to learn that, right? So that is something special, yeah, right? Because people are developed in almost similar ways, right? But the thing that you do with yourself and with your time is what makes you different. So in a way that you are saying that you manage your time in a way that you can hang out with your friends and other people, right? So you compartmentalize your tasks in a certain way which can help you get maximum output, right? So
Definitely.
that's quite good. That's a very good productivity hack for all the people watching out there. Please try to follow this. This is quite good.
Yeah. And a lot of it just takes in learning yourself, and we can't compare ourselves to each other because we're all unique, we're all different, we're all designed differently. And I know for me, I get refreshed by being with people and being active.
Yeah.
Other people I know, I have friends that are big introverts, and after a busy day, they want to crash. For me, like after a hard week of work, I want to like throw a big, meal and party together with my friends because that's what refreshes me. And so I knew that in order to study hard and focus in college and at work, I also have to do the fun things that refresh me, so that re-energizes me so that I can keep doing the hard things. But everyone has to figure out what those things are for themselves, and having that kind of quote unquote work-life balance, or if you're not refreshing, recharging yourself, you're going to burn out.
Yes, correct. So
And what? You continue.
so how was your I kept I thought that I need to ask this because when we were having this conversation, you said that you were living in India for 8 years. So I was wondering,
Correct.
in which part did you live for 8 years, and what were your responsibilities and why were you in India for so long, for such a long time?
Yeah. I stayed about a year in Hyderabad, 3 years in Delhi, and then 4 years in Bangalore. And I've traveled all over India. I've been to all the major cities, probably about maybe almost half the states. So I'm very lucky, very blessed to have seen more of India than many of my Indian friends. But I was there doing a mixture of things, business. So we did a lot of training, consulting with Indian companies. So teaching cross-cultural communication, business development and relationships, people how to work with their international business partners. So we did a lot of work with like IT companies, MNCs, BPOs. And we also did some culture research. So we worked with some of the universities there in India doing culture research. Had a lot of fun studying the future changing, developing culture of India with some of the top universities there and working with those students. And a few other things, but that was kind of the main stuff we were doing there in India, which was fun.
So have you been to Vadodara?
Unfortunately, no. The only place in Gujarat I've been to is Ahmedabad.
Oh, wow. So have you tried different cuisines that India has? We do have a lot of dishes and a lot of cuisines.
Yes.
in every
Yeah.
part of our country. So
Diversity.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I'd say, you go 100 kilometers in any direction, you have different food, different language, different festivals,
Yeah.
different culture, everything. And I loved it. And so people ask me my favorite food, and I say, well, which part of India are you talking about?
Okay.
So, in
That's
Hyderabad, I
smart
love,
answer actually.
yeah, in Hyderabad, I love the biryani. Up in Delhi, it's the Punjabi Mughlai food, the dal
Yes.
makhni and chole bhatura and, the tikkas. And down in South India in Bangalore, it was the dosa and sambar and, bisi beli baat and
Wow.
vada, all those good things. So yeah, it depends on where you are in India.
wow.
So I guess you are more Indian than
Then
American.
American, yes.
Yeah, maybe 50-50.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
So yeah. So you have stayed here, and you also have like you also there and worked in America. So
Mhm.
like in India, people mostly uses what can I say, job portals like Naukri.com or even LinkedIn or Monster.com to find the jobs. But
Mhm.
in US, do they have other portals that can be helpful while for the international students to get jobs?
Yeah, there are lots of job portals,
Mhm.
Monster.com, LinkedIn, Indeed,
Yes.
Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter. There's several. I'm actually about to do a post on LinkedIn soon about voting on your favorite one, kind of a poll that I've created about that. But again, of all the jobs available in America, only 20 to 30% of them get posted online. So if you're only applying the jobs online in America, you're missing out on 70 to 80% of the jobs, because the majority of the jobs are filled through referrals, networking, and relationships. So your odds of applying online are greatly reduced in terms of getting a job. And then F1 international students who need sponsorship, lots of companies don't sponsor, so that reduces it. And then if you add
Even
cultural differences, accent, all those other things, and all the competition, because there's over 1 million F1 students here in America, if you apply online, I'd say the average F1 student only has access to maybe 10-15% of all the jobs here in America. So it's an okay way to get a job, but definitely not the best way. And it's limiting if that's all you do, which most students, all they do is sit at home and apply online and never network, never meet any Americans and go where you can actually find the jobs.
Wow.
so I guess so. So if you want to get a job in US, you need a strong network with professionals.
100%.
Yes.
Definitely. There's a myth that students believe is, the more applications I fill out, the better chances I have at getting a job.
Correct.
And students fill out 500, 800, over 1,000 applications, which is ridiculous. And the ROI is terrible. But the real truth is your chances of getting a job is proportional to the number of professionals in America that you know.
So there has to be a trade-off, right, for a student, that you have to apply online for certain amount of time, and then you have to dedicate a certain amount of time for networking and to meet other people, right? That's how you get
Definitely.
a job, right?
Yeah, my personal opinion is, for an F1 student, it's actually a waste of time to apply online.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you're still going to do it. I know it's like in your DNA, like you have to feel like
Yes.
you're doing some productivity. So fine, do it. But in my opinion, like if I have to search a job, I would not apply online. I would talk to my network. Or if I didn't have a network, I would focus on building a network. The problem is that has to happen from day one. And most students don't try to network until it's too late and they've only got 30 days left on their OPT and they're desperate so they don't get kicked out of America. So networking has to be day one, so that when you need a job, you already have that foundation of a strong network that can work for you. But so there's no quick, fix, no, silver bullet. You have to do the hard work from the beginning, but then it pays off at the end.
But what I have felt is what happens is when you leave your country and when you leave abroad, you feel alone, right? So you find comfort zone, and in order to find your comfort zone, you try to find those people who belong to your country or who belong to your culture. So that thought process creates a hindrance in making a network and building a strong network, because we don't have that much of a confidence to to talk to American people and approach them. We don't know how to do that, and we are already feeling alone because we are in a foreign land. So we are trying to find some people who can we can relate to them, right? So we are trying to do that. So that's where the difference lies, right? Those people who can build their network from day one, they can go forward without any hindrances. But if you are looking for your comfort zone, if you are in that cycle, then there may be some issues in the future, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. How much did you pay per semester for your tuitions at your college here in
uh,
US?
it was $14,000.
Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty average. UTD now is like 15 to 17,000. I mean, I know some colleges are way more expensive. It's like 20, 30,000 per semester, for studies here. That's a lot of money, especially when you convert it back into your own currency like rupees. So you're
Yes.
going to pay, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to study here in America. But then why would you come to America when all your roommates are from your same country and culture? Most of your classmates are from your same country and culture, and even having professors from the same country and culture, you know, is it really worth it then if you're going to be stuck in your little bubble
No,
to
no.
spend all that money and time and resources, you know?
Correct. Correct. Your point is quite valid that if we are doing the same thing in a foreign land, that doesn't make any sense, right? We are spending a lot of money and then we are doing the same thing with what we used to do in our own country. So
Yeah, what's
doesn't
the
make any
point?
sense. Yes, correct.
Means I have even seen that most of the students going to USA live with their own community, and
Hmm.
I don't know what the word I can say. Like they are shy, or they have fear of talking to, especially the Americans. So
Hmm.
they will avoid talking to them. Like
Yeah.
no, let me go to my work, and I don't want to talk to him, and which causes a lot of problems
Yeah,
when it comes to networking.
definitely. Yeah, they definitely have to overcome that fear and take the risk and step out of the bubble. But the students who do step out of the bubble, break out of the dusty bubble, they're the ones that have success and have no problems finding jobs.
Yes.
Correct. Correct. So, have you while you were in India, what were your experience like? Working with people, and how many languages did you because you traveled so much, you might have
Hmm.
understood some of the languages, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. So Hindi was the main language I learned. So abhi, मैं थोड़ी हिंदी बोल सकता हूँ.
अरे
सिर्फ
वाह.
Kachi Hindi pak nahi. So at one point I was pretty good in Hindi. I could speak about 15, 20 minutes with someone in Hindi before I started running out of words to say. Um, and then in Bangalore, we learned some Kannada. But that was harder because not everyone in Bangalore spoke Kannada, with the IT melting pot. And so we didn't get as far in Kannada. And then whenever I traveled anywhere in India, I'd love to learn just some of the local phrases. So greetings, and so I'd pick up a few phrases in different states and languages, which was always fun because people always felt so special when you could greet them in their own language. So that was fun. But overall, I mean, India was fun. It was an adventure every day. I personally think India and America are the two most opposite countries in the world in terms of culture. Um, and one is not better than the other. They both have their pros, they both have their cons. They both have a lot to learn from each other. So I'm thankful for all the things that India taught us. And there's so many wonderful things in the Indian culture that I love getting to experience.
yeah, India is pretty diverse. You get to learn a lot. Even though we are Indians and we do live in India, we don't understand everything, right? So we have to travel
Hmm.
a lot, and we have to go to different places, meet new people, just to understand how they are thinking,
Yes.
and their perspective is also different, right? Even though they are living in the same country, their perspective is also different, and every 100 kilometers, as you said, right?
Hmm.
Yes, correct. So it was quite it must be a fulfilling experience for you, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we definitely considered India home for us.
Wow.
Wow.
So how much? I mean, do you travel a lot to India after going back to United States, or you stay there?
Not during the pandemic. I've only actually been back to India one time since we came back. I went back for my friend's wedding. This was in
Oh,
Delhi back in almost 2 years ago now.
Okay.
So went back to Delhi for my friend's wedding. I had plans to go to India this last year for another wedding. It was going to be in Maharashtra, but
Okay.
that obviously got postponed, with the COVID. So I haven't been back too often yet, but hoping to for sure.
Wow. So
who is it?
it would be fun, yeah, if you come to visit India, and especially Vadodara and other parts of Gujarat, we would love to host you.
Oh, I would
Yes,
love it. I heard Vadodara is definitely a foodie city and famous
Yes.
for some great food there in Gujarat.
yeah.
Yes.
Means Vadodara is also famous for the palace, the Sajirao Palace.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
we do.
Uttarayan's pretty big there too, right?
Yes,
Yes.
The
yes,
Yes.
kite
quite big.
festival.
Yeah.
Also the Navratri as well, the Dandiya Ras
Hmm.
that we play, that also happens on a larger scale. So people
Yeah.
across Gujarat and across India do visit this city just to play Garba during those 9 days.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess they travel during October and November so that they can play Garba.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always fun.
Yes.
So yeah. So like I want to know like what kind of tips and tricks that you give to students for like you have to give like one trick or trick. So
Yeah,
what will
if you
that
have
be?
to if you have to give one advice to any of the future students who are trying to reach out to United States and trying to make their future in their careers, what would that advice be?
Yeah, for the incoming students, the prospective
Mhm.
students who are considering coming to US, I think the big thing is ask what your motivation is. What is your why?
Mhm.
I think a lot of people want to come to America, but either for the wrong motivation or they don't really know why. It's just kind of what they're supposed to do. Family, it's the Sharmaji ki beta thing, oh, their son went to the US, so you must go to the US,
Yes.
is one reason. Or, oh, that's where I'm going to get a better degree and get more money and a better job. But a lot of people are doing things for the, status or numbers, but not really for their own personal passion or motivation. They ask, well, what's the best course to get this kind of job? Because they want to make X amount of dollars. But if you're not good at it or you don't enjoy it, it's not worth it. And they never really, understand how hard it is to actually come here. They only see the Hollywood and Instagram version of America, but it is hard for you guys to be away from family and friends, going from a very dependent culture to a very independent culture. You guys have to learn how to cook and clean and shop and, manage your life along with studies and find jobs, and everything's new and hard and different. And Americans are weird, for you guys from other cultures. And so it's hard. It's a sacrifice. It's an investment. And so you want to make sure you have the right motivation that's going to carry you through. You want to make sure you're doing something you're passionate about, that you're excited about, that you're good at, and not just because, oh, it's going to pay a good salary or whatever, because in the end, money is helpful, but it's not the most important thing. And that's always was a big perspective change for me that I had in college. And so, yeah, I think really check yourself, know the right motivation. That's going to help you be more successful here in America.
Yes. That was
And yeah,
quite.
what yes,
Yes. Continue.
it was really good. Yes. So and yeah, and I have one thing like in like the resume is the most important part when you are applying for the job. So what kind of resume do you like to see when if you are the employer?
I would disagree on that. It's my opinion.
Okay.
The resume is a necessary formality, but the
Mm-hmm.
more you rely on your resume, it means you have the wrong approach for getting a job, because
Okay.
that means you're applying only focusing on online and trying to crack the ATS system. And when you go
Okay.
through the formal route of applying online, everything's working against you because they're trying to reject you, not to hire you. Um, So the more you rely on your resume, the more you have the wrong approach for getting a job. The less you rely on your resume, that means you have a better approach for job search because you're focused on relationships, networking, referrals. Yes, eventually you'll have to show someone your resume, but I focus more on alternative resumes because, again, every international student looks the same on paper. You all are smart. You all have good GPAs. You all have the same qualifications, certifications, courses, work experience. You can't stand out on your resume. So why worry about it? Do other things. Have alternative resumes. Make a video resume. Have a personal website. Have a GitHub. Make sure you have a good LinkedIn profile, which is basically an expanded version of your resume. Do the other things, because in America, it's all about standing out. The hard thing is many of you guys come from Eastern cultures, which teach you to blend in, which is great in your home country, but it's terrible for America and terrible for finding a job. So it's all about standing out. On your resume, it's hard to stand out. So you have to find other ways to stand out. And that happens through relationships and alternative resumes.
Wow.
So, well, like when I passed out my college, and I used to work as a recruiter, US recruiter. So, means I used to get a lot of resume of people, and what used to happen is like they all used to be of same format. Like there is nothing new about it. So, means that's why I ask you this question. Like, is there anything like about resume that because if you are as an employer, when you see that resume, you only see the black and white, nothing else. So I thought that making it something like interesting or creative can help you with that, right?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that's hard because one, even to pass the ATS system, you have to have certain formats, That's why maybe at a career fair or a job fair where you're actually personally passing off a resume, making it, unique, that is worth it. Or, maybe you can email a secondary or a kind of supplementary resume. You have to have your basic one to fit the formality, but then you can have a creative one that will then help you stand out that you can send separately. Maybe that's a good idea.
So yeah, so I was asking like, so when is as an interviewer, uh, does hobbies play an important role? Like other because they know that you are you're skilled enough that you can do the work there. But means I have seen that interviewers look such kind of skills like what are their hobbies so they can interact with people or are they good with team they can play good with team and all. So how does that play make an important role in interview?
No, you're so right. I say that in America, your technical skills might get you the interview, but it's your soft skills that get you the job. And in America, again, there's so many smart people. They want to make sure that you have a life outside the classroom, that you have proof of success outside the classroom. What other types of experience? What type of leadership? What kind of values do you have? Are you just a robot in the classroom, or do you have a life? And are you involved in other things, whether it's sports, music, art? Are you the leader in leadership of a club or an organization? Do you volunteer and do philanthropy or community service? Do you do mentoring or volunteering? What are you passionate about outside of your studies and your job? And those are what's going to help you stand out. That's going to give you also topics of conversation to connect with people. The best way to network is talking about people's things that they're interested in doing, like hobbies. And so the best networking conversations don't have to be technical about studies or work. It's about the things you enjoy in life, because that's really deep down what people care more about, not their job they go to day to day or what they had to study at class earlier that day of their exam. And so that's how you're going to connect with a recruiter and an interviewer, is finding some common points of interest. And that's going to help you stand out and view you more as a holistic person, which is what they're looking for here in America.
Wow.
Yeah. And one off-track question I have, like, means I have seen a lot of series, like movies and series there. So, means in particularly, I have seen Office quite for quite a time. So, does that kind of culture really there? And like, is the real life and real life both same? Not, I'm not saying that completely
Exactly.
same, but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Is
yeah,
there any resemblance of the Office
yes,
series to the real life of Office, right? So
yeah.
that's what the he's asking. He's trying to ask.
Yeah. Is real life in India like a Bollywood movie?
Uh, not no, I won't say that.
Wow, what an answer! We don't have to.
In India, when you're walking down the street and it's raining, everyone's dancing in the street, dakka, 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 dakka. It's movies and TV shows are an exaggeration, especially comedy. For
Yeah,
anything, any type of comedy is always an exaggeration of reality.
Correct.
Now it's based on real things, obviously, but it's not a depiction of real life. So yeah, I think, yeah, one shock for people is they watch all the TV shows and movies of America and they get here like, oh, it's actually really different, and Americans are quite different than what we
Yes.
saw on Friends or The Office or whatever movie or TV show they watched.
Yes.
because means most of the time, means especially in India, like people always think that after watching those series, like Americans are same as they are shown in the series. So
Yes.
they'll always, yes. So they have this perception like, if I go there, I have to act like that. So yes, I can be famous, or what can I say? I'll be popular among them, and yeah, that's what
Hmm.
I'm saying.
But would you want all of America to think India is like Dabong?
No.
No, no, not at all.
Exactly.
Correct. So yeah, so that was quite an enlightening conversation with you today.
Yeah.
We got to learn a lot, especially we got to bust a few myths that you don't have to keep applying online. You have to do networking and stuff. You do have
Mhm.
to develop your soft skills apart from your technicalities and the things that you learn from universities. So it was quite good for us that we get to learn a lot, and we are sure that people who are watching, who are going to watch this, or who are going to listen to this podcast, they will definitely feel that there is some value addition to their life, right? Especially the students who are trying to go abroad and study further.
Mhm.
So yes, thank you very much
Yeah.
for
And I
joining
can
today.
say that you are basically a myth buster to me and the people who think exactly
Yes.
the same way that I have questioned you.
Correct, correct. So all the people
Oh,
watching this podcast, if you want to if you have any questions regarding immigration and studying in United States and getting jobs and doing networking, you can follow and subscribe to his Instagram, Robert Adams, and you can also check out his LinkedIn page where he can help you out with a lot of videos and other stuff. So do watch his YouTube channel, do subscribe and follow his LinkedIn page and then his Instagram as well. All the links are given on the screen, and also given in the description as well. So do check it out, guys. Yeah.
awesome. Thank you guys so much, James Cornell. This was so much fun. Really enjoyed the conversation, and thanks for all the great questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Thank
was fun
you.
for
And
us too. Yeah,
we love to converse. We like to converse with you.
yeah,
We should do it once again,
yeah.
whenever
Sure,
you
Sounds
get
good.
time.
sure.
But I guess we should talk about Bollywood and Hollywood movies. I guess.
That would be a fun topic for next time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I hope you have a good day. Enjoy your
Yeah.
tea and then your day.
Chai.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, guys. Bahut
Yes.
dhanyawad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a really great conversation with Mr. Robert Adams, and we got a great insight about the job culture in United States. Moreover, we learned a lot about how what is the process, and or what are the steps you require to get to get employment in United States, and what are the skills that are necessary to achieve it. Yeah.
Yes. And we hope that you like this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, share this video and podcast to as many people as possible so that we can reach out to maximum students who are trying to get into United States or any other foreign country. And you can also, if you are not comfortable on YouTube, you can also listen to our podcast on various other platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and many others. So make sure you listen to our podcast. Make sure you like this video and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a good day. Thank you.
Peace out. Bye bye.